Call me fuego, 93 like me. Fire in the sheets, spending summers on the sea. Quedo, no way home. Bearfield life on Rodeo.
But this is it, the very last round. Plain Pat's going to be fairly friendly to everybody back over towards the east. Now it's just going to be our western teams having a little bit of trouble to go with. Nothing too crazy, though. Should be comfort to get everything started. I know Hypox's with me on wanting some crazy circles. Godspeed, you've been wanting some crazy circles.
I want
too.
a milli circle. I want a crazy, out of control south side milli circle. I want just the most ridiculous, difficult to play. I'm sure all the players hate me right now. Dude, Zarky is actually. I'm gonna be completely honest. Zarky is my home. If I was to pick out like my home on this map and where my favorite place is, it's the Zarksters, dude. I love Zarky. It's super far out of the way. I've actually had the pleasure of looting it on multiple teams I've been on playing at this level. But speaking of circles that I like to see. Little Milton Power circle. How do you feel about that, Matt? That used to
I don't know. Is there going to be a fist fight? We'll have to see. I don't know how it's going to go down.
That's a tough callback, but I respect it.
Now, we do need to note how much of this is water. Clueless still looking back over to Sonics. Finally look like they have decided to take a couple of shots back over to him. H1 taking a touch of damage, but nothing too terribly aggressive coming out as the rest of the Sonics are rolling through. They're going to go ahead and take down Patrick, and that's a quick and easy pickup as they hop back into the vehicle and get dropped out of it. Got to be very cautious with that one. Nitrogen still holding back this angle, but Sonics do get stopped off of their push, losing Profi, and H1 is down, looking like they're trying to get back over for this res.
Yeah, and that's not ideal. Sonic's still in a position to get third and get a good chunk of that money in that prize pool, so they want to pick up win here and make sure that they recover what they can, as well as get a good amount of kill points. Shots coming out from Shrimsy, almost has it, but no, it ain't with the knock.
Don't forget, Dodge is back behind them, taking these shots into the rear side, but it's going to be Finna that actually connects with Mime, and Sonics is our first team out. 16th place coming up for them. I know they were in the hunt for it, but that is not the way to go out right now. Now it's all really coming down to how the rest of the teams up towards the top of the leaderboard are going to contend with this circle.
And I said I wanted to see something from Team Clueless, and I think that was a really good bait and trap. I mean, they lost one, but, you know, a 4-for-1 is never a bad deal, especially in PUBG. Oh, but Pistol Time has to be careful. Shots, he can't actually get through the gap with the UAZ. He almost goes down. He's going to be able to save himself. As we go over to Comets with a very strong position as well going into the circle positions.
When we talk about how it's always a follow-through of decisions, Shoot to Kill decided to go ahead, continue to loot up, wanted to come in, play that edge of the circle, but with these shifts moving away from him, you can see now it is just constantly running up and forth. Civ takes a little bit of damage off this. Fable trying to move into aggressive spot. Gets a couple of shots back over, but Greg's shot does manage to take down Uncivil. 2 members of Shoot to Kill up. One of them is taken down to a little bit less than half life. Greg's shot's just going to go ahead, throw out the grenade. Luke 12 looking back over on this angle, not going to be able to see it, down to about half life as well, but it is Luke. He's connecting with a couple of shots, forcing Greg's shot away from that position, but Uncivil, I don't think they're going to be able to get over here in time. It's going to be a couple of Molotovs thrown down, but no! He gets shot down while trying to go for one, and then there was one. It's just Purdy, the last remaining member. You can see Illusions on one side, Fables on the other. This is really bad for Shoot to Kill. One hit point remaining right now, trying to cling to life. Outside and in the blue, gonna have to be very cautious with this, just chain bandaging. Doesn't have any more to work with. Shoot to Kill. Purdy, what can you do from here on out?
No meds. He has nothing left.
Can he get it? No, he's gotta be so cautious, and Shoot to Kill is out.
That's it. The only team potentially that could have had any sort of impact on this leaderboard has gone out in 15th place, which means that Oath has to be sitting there just absolutely soaring with excitement. And oh man, I will tell you,
Sonics
even though as someone who chose Oath, I'm still an STK fan, man. I still love those guys, and to see them go out like that, man, that is devastating. But what a crazy finish for them. What a crazy finish.
In the end, the Ironmen do end up snapping their fingers to take down the raid bosses around them, but they don't get the win themselves. We do have Shoot to Kill out, Sonics out. Just back behind that's going to be Exodus that needs too many points. They'd have to kill everybody in the lobby, and I don't even think that would be enough.
They need, if my math is not mistaken here, I believe 56 points. If they
looks right to me as well.
Challenge Oath, which I'm just going to be honest, I don't even think those points are available here at this point.
Yeah, well, you have to remember, we're at 47 alive right now. 4 of them exist, so math isn't there. Now it's just a matter of what's going to be going on for our other positions, as Oath is very comfortable towards the center. They're just watching right now, and they have to be ecstatic that when the kill feed right.
I just really wish that we could hear Oath's comms, if I'm being honest right now, as soon as this is going out. But it's not over. There's still a game going on. Still teams that can potentially, my goodness, juxtapose themselves up the leaderboard. So we still got to see what's going to happen here.
Number of knocks coming through. Luke 12 up at 29. H-Win Profi back behind them. Then it's going to be Vegas. Meanwhile, 303 holding down. Very nice little military trench there. Got the sand. Oh, trying to take a couple of shots on the other side of this, and that's going to be real bad for Illusion as they sent it into a very dangerous location. Nitrogen still hanging out right up on top of that spot. And it looks like he's pretty comfortable. The hard shifts still continuing their push back towards Comets, getting closer and closer, but this has been a very long push coming out from them. Molotovs galore coming down. And can we talk about how awesome it is to see so many Molotovs being used? By God, these things are so fun to watch.
Mollies are ridiculous. I mean, they've always really been strong, but they're really coming to the forefront of this meta. Shots coming out, like Cantaloupes get a knock. Beautiful snap. Can he get a second, a third? No!
Now it's just on to Victor on one side of this. He actually's on a little bit of life. The other members of Hardship's not in a position to really help out, so that's going to go back over towards Comets. And I believe they should be able to get away with getting both of these reses. Yeah, look, Maluk's way off over there. Chubba's in a little bit of a shack right next to the gate, but not a lot can be done, so he's just going to kind of chill here. Comets do manage to defend it up.
I wonder what... Oh, man. Oh, and Luke is actually just going to take out the last member.
Luke's just been back there taking out everybody on Radiance, yeah.
Well. Yeah.
3 kills.
So I'm curious what happened there. Maybe Radiance was kind of gatekeeping the rotation from the other 2 members of hard shifts for them in order to consolidate, because that was a very split fight. I mean, while Maluk was fighting Radiance, which he did take out, Comets was pushing the other 2 members of hard shifts. So a little bit of maybe miscommunication or just mistiming that they couldn't actually get back together and fight as 4.
So Comets got firm control over this area right now, with actually a little bit of help from the hard shifts. So they're offhandedly thanking Maluk without knowing it. Really, we do have a new circle that's about to pop, still continuing to stay on Oath, but that's no surprise given the fact that, I mean, they're pretty centered up inside of this one. Now it's a lot of our teams on the outside, but do notice Taylor J's positioning. He left the other members of Exodus and is pretty close to Oath's location. Exodus could have a very big game and really cement their position as well, but it's going to be a very dangerous cross if they decide to commit to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a dangerous cross indeed. Comets, looking at the last member, we had we're checking in with Crop now, who had found himself in this this Wizard Tower quite a while ago, as he's still stuck there. And Comets kind of have to push. Not only do they have to push over here, but that cross, as you said, is going to be very difficult. They could wrap here, but it's going to take a little extra time. I don't know. Maybe if they had started this a little earlier, it would have been better. But we'll see what actually works out for them.
Well, if they do wrap down, they get to fight the other members of Hardships that they didn't get a chance to kill quite yet.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Exodus did manage to make their push back over, firmly regrouped and letting Oath do a little bit of control over the area to keep them safe. Just to the south of it, it's going to be Elusive that's moving forward back towards Exodus's position. Off towards the west, 303 is also making their way inside the circle, as Wildcard has to be a little bit careful as they're running kind of close to their position, with Zenith holding down one location as well, pretty centered up.
Yeah, Wildcard could potentially, I think they're one of the teams I was talking about earlier. I mean, they could jump up in points here and steal a position or 2, depending on how well they do. 303 finds themselves in a little bit of a pickle as they're on the kind of northwest side of this this hill coming down off of Lumber. This is a good spot for now, but it's very difficult, I will say, to get off that hill once the circle shifts off it, if it indeed does shift off.
Well, Comets tried to make their push through an open area, do get spotted out, take a couple of casualties. They do manage to take one more member of the hard shifts with them. Maluk, still alive and kicking, though, has managed to make it inside the safe zone, while the Comets have not yet. And Oath looks like they have an idea on where Comet's going to be trying to approach from, and in a firm gatekeeping position with very clear sight lines. Victor, you're in some trouble. That blue's coming up back behind you, and there are not a lot of good options to go, especially on foot. I mean, 3 members of Oath looking back over.
No,
That's going to be done real quick. Comets out
done.
in 10th.
Yeah, and I mean, Comets had a difficult push anyways, whether it was crossing where they did or even going for the rotate. Had they even gone earlier, like I suggested, I don't even know if that really would have helped them much. They just didn't have the vehicles to really get across where they wanted to, and oh my goodness! Wild card! Out of there!
It's
in 9th.
It's this wide open terrain. There's like such clear sight lines, and everything is just turning up Oath. These guys have so much control over the circle. New circle pops. No surprise. Still staying on Oath's location. Yeah,
like I said, Mini Milta is my favorite place to play from in these circles because it does tend to favor it in some capacity.
It does,
at least towards the end. Oath is just snagging kill after kill, and I also want to remind you and everyone else, this could potentially be Oath's 4th win in the day, which is just ridiculous.
When you want to win, you got to prove that you need it, and they managed to show up today without a doubt. Livid still got all 4 of their members up, sitting on 2 kills, trying to get a little bit more control back over towards the southwest, where Zenith is still running that 2-2. Might be a little bit dangerous, but let's be fair, it'd also be kind of dangerous to regroup at this point, so just trying to hold this down. It's going to be shots coming out from Elusive that do manage to take down Ditech on his approach. Elusive still trying to figure out how they're going to make approaches. They have Exodus that's in the gatekeeping position towards them as well. And let's be real. Anybody that has to make a push back over towards Oath having a high ground position while Exodus holds the low ground, that's got to suck. But if you got buggies, maybe you can just send it. Zenith looking back over towards 303, trying to catch a couple of shots. Zenith trying to get back into that defended location, and 303 managed to get away with a very risky play.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't really feel like they had many other options. Like, they kind of just had to go for it, and they did, and it worked out, so hats off to them.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. When no good options exist, just take what you can try to carve out of the circle, and it pays up big for 303 as they do manage to get away with that safely. But on the other side of that, Exodus does get taken down, so that's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th now down at this point. Oath still sitting in a very comfortable position. No surprise at all at 191. I think the question is now, can Oath break that 200 mark? As that's the new thing I'm kind of starting to root for. Living hanging out around the smokes. I mean, everything's starting to settle down a touch.
Yeah, they're getting there. They're getting close to the 200. Livid is in a fairly good position here, though. I definitely wouldn't count them out as well. Nox coming out from Zenith onto 303's Lush in that tower as they are split. If they decide to push this, I don't think that would be the worst idea, but at the same time, it is still risky, especially with the cover from that 2-story red there. And I think Zenith is just going to chill. They're going to continue to put a lot of damage onto 303, and they're going to hold their position quite well.
Well, out of everything going on, Zenith should be 100% aware that it's just 2 that made the cross, because they got to watch the buggy and very fast motion roll right by him.
Sure.
Oath doing a good job of using the terrain pieces around here, trying to make sure that they get a little bit more elevation, as well as those walls. You can see it's just a defensive barricade, as anytime somebody looks back over on this angle, it is so dangerous for any team. Oath still just strangleholding the circle as we're about to have the new one pop. Gonna still favor back over towards Oath's location, and everybody except for 303, oddly enough, Illusion up towards the north, and Oath now gonna have to figure out how they're gonna make it into the safe zone.
Well, I'll be honest, if Oath can just take care of the last 2 members or the last couple members of Illusion there across the street, they can play that that ridge right in front of them, which is a very, very, very strong ridge to play. So as long as they can kind of do something about this, maybe get a knock, they're not going to find it. Still Ranger up, 3 for Illusion. They can use their vehicles as well for cover. There's enough on kind of the south side of that ridge as well they can play to kind of avoid the sight lines and line of sight rather of Illusion from this area. So we'll see, but they definitely have a very strong position still to play as Zenith, before I could even finish my sentence, completely finish out Livid with the help of Oath.
Well, now the only problem that remains next to them is going to be 303 and how they want to handle this. If they're paying attention to what's happening in the kill feed, they would have seen one of the members get knocked. And yeah, it looks like Mystery said, hey, that might be the guys at this wizard tower. Let's go for a play. And he goes down with it. But Kickstart does manage to make it back over inside the wizard tower. So up above him is going to be 2 members of 303. Slow crawl coming back over. 2 other members trying to provide some type of cover. But this is going to be a very risky res if they opt into going for it.
No!
They are going to get away with it. Voxic tries to come down and go for a play. Now it is just Lush.
And I'm not sure if it was a grenade or something that caused Voxic to jump out, but I mean, he just jumped out right into view of the members of Oath, so that was an easy knock for them, as Mystery is actually going to get picked up. This is huge for Zenith. They could overtake 303 in these leaderboards and potentially take fourth.
Look what we got going on. Oath, we've seen this happen several times with them. When they start feeling control, they're going to use that capital moment. They're going to try to find the angles. A little bit of exchange going back and forth between both people inside the Wizard Tower. But Oath is now approaching from the south on this, on the backside of Zenith, while they're still trying to fin this up. We have kind of an awkward little fight going on as everybody's trying to hold different angles to protect their members inside that Wizard Tower. But it's just a constant exchange of damage. Zenith looking like they're starting to finally do a little bit more damage control, but two of their members are trapped out inside the blue right now. Illusion, just hearing everything that's going on as Zenith finally opts into making their push.
Yeah, but they should make it, though. Those knocks coming out for Roth were actually massive and buying them some room or some space in order to move forward towards that Wizard Tower. Meanwhile, Oath is also setting up on the east side on that ridge to start to really take control of the rest of the circle. And realistically, Zenith only need about 3 more points with maybe a wipe of 303 to clinch on to fourth.
Well, you can see that we had Illusion that's right next to 303, flanking around back behind them at this point. Oath's kind of got their line of sight back over towards Zenith, though. Oath has moved out into a little bit more of an aggressive position, really claiming about half the circle at this point. In very fortified positions. It's everybody else that's going to have to figure out how they're wanting to move around these different positions, and are all crammed up next to each other. Zenith actually in a very fortunate position as the other two teams, 303 and Illusion, right on top of each other, as slowly and steadily we're seeing an encroachment over. Look at Ranger moving right into position next to D-Rich, just waiting to see how 303 is going to play this, and 303 has got to be very, very careful or they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I'm going to be honest, regardless of which team wins this little skirmish, it's just going to be a firing squad waiting for them between Zenith and Oath. So realistically, this is a battle for fourth and third.
Oh.
Icy Flex. Oh, he's just going to go down to the blue.
Oh, Illusion was trying to go for that push. Do get spotted out. That's going to be Oath that's kind of gatekeeping and holding that point back over for 303 and giving him a little bit more control. Landoon hears everything that's going on, but not really making a play quite yet. Roth does jump down, tries to go for a play on top of it, but yep, that's going to be Illusion getting eliminated. 303 still comfortable inside of their house.
They are comfortable. They have a little bit of a ridge to play in front of them, but even just getting there is going to be a challenge, as Landoon is looking for any sort of angle that he can find, and that's pretty much going to be it. This is going to be the final circle. As Zenith jumps up, could 303 potentially do something here? Can they even scrounge together the points to stave off Zenith?
Oh, D-Rich goes down to the blue, and that's it. That's it. They get taken out, and now we have a firing line between Zenith and Oath. 4 members up on both sides, and damn, Oath, 11 kills in this round. These guys just don't know when to quit. They want every single point they can possibly muster. So, on one side of the hill, we've got Zenith starting to move a little bit more aggressive. Smokes coming out, long-range tosses on, it looks like Molotov, trying to go after Wolf.
They're isolating Wolf.
Snaker's playing low. Yeah.
They're isolating. Oh, nice grenade from Relo. That's huge.
Now we've got Zenith starting to make their push up and forward. Another one goes down. That's 3 members of Zenith out. Are Oath going to pick up the last game in addition to the entirety of the tournament? They feel like they've got this running up into the Smokes. Goes for the spray, and Oath cannot be stopped. 15 kills and a huge performance to finish it out.
You know, I was going to say, after seeing STK go out, they easily could have kind of rested on their laurels and chilled, but no, they wanted to win and really stamp out their victory with just, none of the victory of the game, of the tournament, with just a statement, like, we are Oath, we are here to play, and damn, that was impressive. Oath is insane.
Walking away with 7 kills that game. And by God, if you are not an Oath fan, looks like you're going to have no choice from this point forward. These guys are so dominant whenever you watch them play.